Welcome back, folks, to another Brickgrid Intermediate Blender class, and we're carrying on making daisies. We've essentially made our daisies now, really. Still got to add material to them, but that's fine. But we need to make some leaves, so let's do that today. We'll make some leaves. Now, I actually went out into my garden and picked a daisy. So I was using that as reference the other day just to make sure, and I picked a daisy leaf, just to see what they look like. So I've got a reasonably good idea of what daisies are meant to look like. Now for our daisy leaf, I'm just going to add in a mesh plane, and I'm going to go into edit mode, and we'll use a mirror modifier on this. So I'm just going to put in an edge cut. In fact, let me hide our daisies, because they're going to get in the way, aren't they? They're going to get in the way. So let's just select them, and we'll press H. That's better. Right, where were we? So, select our plane, into edit mode. Let's add in an edge cut. So, Control R. Perfect. Enter to select that, to accept that rather. Now I want to get rid of these vertices, so we're just going to delete those. And just to avoid any problems, I'm going to apply transforms to that. Now this is where the fun begins. So, into edit mode. Now I do want to add in some more edge loops, just so that we've got a bit of geometry to work with when we start to manipulate the leaf, when we start to bend it, because daisy leaves aren't flat. So we'll do Control R. We'll put in, I don't know, 3 or 4 loop cuts, maybe even 5. And we probably want to do the same in the other direction. So we're basically trying to give ourselves enough geometry. Whoa, enough geometry to work with. There we go. Now I just want to select that and move it across, because the daisy leaf has a kind of thin stalky bit, and then it's got and I'm just going to move that down, and I'm just going to tweak these little bits. I'm just going to move that up, and that one up a little bit, that one up a little bit. Right. And so let's even some of these out a bit. Now, I guess I could use a knife cut actually. I didn't do that when I was practicing, but we could use a knife cut. It would kind of make sense to do that. So we could try that. We've not really used the knife much. So there is probably a knife tool in our toolbox, if I could find it, because I don't really know what it looks like. So I shall look at these little widgets. Knife, there we go. There's our knife tool. Let's go back to this one. So the shape kind of goes. So let's start from here. So the shape kind of goes. I think I've made a mess of this. We might need to add some more edges. We might need to extrude this a little bit. So let's hit enter to accept that. Yeah, I'm going to I'm just going to funny around with a couple of these edges a bit. Yeah, so I'm going to extrude this edge just to give us a bit more space to work with. We want to select all the edge bits. Might be easier to see in which it's got in the way. Might be easier to see in wireframe mode. So let's just extrude that on the Y. And maybe again extrude on the Y. Okie dokie. And we'll go back to our knife tool if I can remember what it looks like, which I can't. That one. Let's go back to here. So we need to put in a few more cuts starting here. And I seem to remember the leaf kind of comes in and does that. So we can accept that. Let's get rid of these faces we don't want. So I'm on the knife tool, which I don't need to be on. So we can select all of these. Whoops, a daisy. Bit tedious, but we can do it. And once we've done that, we can press the delete key. We want to delete the faces. Okay, that's not too bad. We could subdivide some of these edges just to give ourselves a little bit more geometry to work with, which might be an idea. Let's have a look and see how we're doing. Yeah, just because I don't know how this is going to look, but we just need to give it a bit of a kind of raggedy edge on it. So we'll do some going in, some going out, some shaking it all about, doing the okie dokie, all that kind of stuff. We've got a stray vert there, we don't need that. So we'll just dissolve that vert by vert, and okay, that's not looking too bad. Don't like that one much. Just might want to slide that around a bit. That's a bit fat in the X direction, so we'll just scale that down a bit. Cool. Let's stick a mirror modifier on it. So let's go into object mode. Let's just apply those transforms. Let's go to our modifier stack, add modifier, go to mirror. Not looking too bad. Turn on clipping. Nice bit of clipping, which will get rid of the verts in between. I I think we can probably apply that, and I think I want to make it a bit longer. So we want to scale it in the Y direction. It's probably about right. Let's just go into edit mode. We'll get rid of any extra vertices really. So we'll do merge by distance, and it removed none. Haha, we didn't really need to worry about that then. So now we need to add a bit of a curve to our leaf, and if I can remember rightly, it curves up at the edge, kind of slightly upwards, less so towards the top. So we'll try doing some proportional editing and see how we get on. So let's just see how we're set at the moment. We need to go to individual origins. So G. Okay, we need to affect quite a large portion. So let's see, can we move those up? I'm not too happy about that. I think we need to go to something like sphere. Yeah, that's not looking too bad. So we're just moving these up a bit. We'll do some here as well. We might need to tweak this a little bit. So don't forget you can adjust your radius as you're working. And we're just really trying to give it a bit of just a bit of interest. Let's move that one up a bit. That one up a bit. Okay, that's looking a bit funny there, so let's move that up a bit. And I've just noticed something. Okay, that's a shame. It's because we've not got the mirror modifier on. Really, I should have left the mirror modifier on. I was being a bit of a twit. So never mind, it's all good. So let's do the same for this side. Just move these bits up, and G, we'll just shrink down the selection there. How are we doing? Not too badly. And now we can start, let's turn that off. We can start fiddling about with some of these individual verts, just to try and smooth out what we've been doing. Whoops. So it doesn't look quite so horrible. So it does take a bit of time and a bit of attention to get it looking about right, but it's all good. It's just a matter of using your best judgment to try and even things out. That's going a bit wobbly there. Let's just tweak that a bit so these aren't so shockingly out of line. And those. So I'm just trying to follow the general line of the geometry. Those edges will need to come up. Oh, my cat's just falling off my lap. Oh, bless her. I think she's going to sleep because I'm talking too much. Still some odd edges in there. So let's see if we can't subtly alter those. This isn't the best way to do this, by the way. I'm not a great fan of slavishly slavishly pull inverts around because life is too short for that. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, that's not looking too bad. I might just sort that bit out. Got a few little tweaks we could make to that central section. How are we doing? Yeah, this video's dragging on a bit, isn't it? We're up to 13 minutes now. Gosh. Okay, I'm going to stop messing about with this because it's going to drive me potty. So let's just shade that smooth. Shade smooth. And let's unhide our daisies. That leaf is a bit big, so I'm going to scale that down a bit. Scale, and that's probably looking about right. So I'm just going to rotate that, and we'll make a few variations of that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to transfer the geometry to the 3D cursor. That's still a bit big, let's scale that down. That's still a bit big. That's probably more like it. So let's change the geometry origin to the 3D cursor. Let's apply rotations, blah 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 blah. So apply all transforms. So let's Shift D to duplicate it. Let's go to, let's rotate that, rotate on Z, scale it a bit. In fact, let's rotate it a bit more, just because, and let's scale it on the y-axis, and then scale it on the x-axis. Not too bad. We could try moving it up, we could try rotating it a bit more, just to give it a bit more interest. Now we can select both of those, we can Shift D them, we can rotate them on the Z, we can scale them. You can see how what we're doing here. Let's select that one, Shift D, let's rotate it on the Z. Oh, I went off screen there. And we could rotate that one down a bit, and we can also scale it. We can scale it on the Z to make it look more bendy. So let's try that. Let's scale on Z only. There, look, it's more bendy, and we'll scale that down globally. And let's have another little leaf. So Shift D. Let's rotate it. That rotated it in a weird angle. Let's rotate it in another weird angle then. There we go. We can move it up the plant a bit. We can rotate it a bit more. And let's scale that down. Let's scale it. Let's rotate that and then scale it in the Z axis, I think. So rotate on Z. So let's scale on X. Wrong way. Let's try scaling on Y. let's actually rotate that a bit more. So let's try scaling that on Y. That's what I wanted. And let's Shift D that, and we'll rotate it on Z. And we'll rotate that down a bit. So I'm just trying to organise these so they don't look so wacky. That one's a bit big. Okay. So I'm not. Yep, I'm not. Just move that one down. And we could scale that on X a little bit. Just looks a little bit freaky. Right. Yeah, that's great. Well, that video ran to 18 minutes, so apologies for that. So at least we've got some leaves now. And yeah, great. So that's all good. I'm going to call that a day for this leaf making video. And thanks for watching. Do like and subscribe to the Brickgrid Blender Intermediate channel. Keep your eyes peeled for more Blender videos that appear on there. And thank you everyone for taking the time out to watch. I hope you had fun and you're learning something with Blender. Until next time, take care. See you again. Bye for now.